friends, it is Stasia and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing 5 tips to get out of a reading slump. If you don't know what a reading slump is, it's kind of when, you know, you're either too busy or you've been reading so much that you don't really feel like reading. And usually when I get in a reading slump, like, I'm sad because I would love to be reading, but I don't necessarily feel like reading. So here are 5 tips that typically do tend to help me. It depends on your preferences and what you tend to do. But here are 5 tips that are either popular that other people have tried or that I usually do when I'm in a slump. So it's just 5 really simple things. Try it out. Let me know how it goes for you. So the first tip that I have is to read short or easy books. So short books in length, or like graphic novels or manga, you know, like something that's easy to read so that it doesn't have so many words that it's kind of overwhelming. You also get to enjoy the experience of like the graphics and the graphic novels and the illustration and manga and stuff. And short books, you kind of feel more accomplished because you're getting through it quicker. That's usually what I tend to go for. If I feel like I'm not necessarily feeling something, I will read a short book on Kindle Unlimited, or, you know, like just a quick novella, because then I feel accomplished that I finished a book and feel like reading again. But yeah, so I mean, short books can go anyway. I'm a romance reader, so I love to read like romance novellas of like series that I've already read or characters that I've already met. Manga, my go-to is always Death Note. I recommend that through and through all the time. For graphic novels, typically Heartstopper is a very popular one. Have not read the most recent one, but would still recommend that series as a whole. And then my second tip is to reread a favorite. I'm not big on rereading, but sometimes just getting into a familiar world kind of helps you get through the book easier. It kind of brings you out of the slump because you're not working as hard with like world building or trying to figure out what's going on. So rereading a favorite kind of brings you back home to like that comfort. So definitely rereading a favorite is always a good tip for me. Number 3 helps me a lot, and that tip is to try an audiobook. Audiobooks aren't for everyone, but they help me tremendously. The main reason I love audiobooks is because I can feel like I'm reading, but also doing other things. So if I'm listening to an audiobook while I'm doing chores, I don't feel bad like neglecting my chores because I'm still reading, and I get my reading in without neglecting my chores. So it's kind of like a two-way street for me when I'm doing audiobooks. I also feel like they can be a little bit more mindless. You could also do other things while you're doing that. I know some people play mindless games. Like me, I'm always usually on something like Animal Crossing while I'm listening to an audiobook. So I'm consuming the story, but in a different sort of media that helps me not have to focus so hard, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, that's it. And then my 4th tip is to do like a try the chapter challenge. So if you're not necessarily sure what you're feeling, pick like 3 to 5 books that you think you might be interested in. Read the first chapter, and that alone could probably hook you on a book. So if you read 5 books and you read the first chapter of all of them, you know, just go ahead and try the book that you were enticed with the first chapter the most, because that is the hardest thing. You know, sometimes when you mood read, you're like, I don't know what I want, but I want to be reading something. So when you try a chapter, then you kind of can narrow the field a little bit more by seeing like what grasps you right then and there. So I definitely love doing a try a chapter. Might do a vlog on that at some point soon, but love that. And then my 5th tip, which, you know, most people don't like to do, but I actually tend to do this a lot, and that's just write it out. Just let the slump be. Usually if I'm in a really hard slump and I'm not wanting to consume a book at all, I'll catch up on TV shows. I'll do like other things, you know. and I'll just let the slump be. And then eventually I will miss reading and want to go back to it. So I definitely recommend writing it out. I feel like there's always this pressure to always be reading, and that's how you kind of get a burnout. Sometimes you just need to take a few days, catch up on some TV shows. Like, you don't have to read every day to be considered a reader. So I definitely recommend, if you are feeling burnt out, to just write it out, let the slump be, and do other things that you typically enjoy. Be out in nature, watch some TV, just chill. Eventually your love for reading will come back, as long as you don't force it. So write it out is usually what I usually do. If everything else is not working, if I can't focus on audiobooks, if I don't feel like doing a favorite, if, you know, all of these other things are not working, I just let it be, and eventually the love for reading will come back and I will be happy to read again. But yeah, so this is a really quick video just to share 5 tips to get over your reading slump, especially with the holidays. Things are fast paced. After all that high energy, you're kind of just gonna crash. So here's some things to help you with your slump if you do get into one. But that's all. So I hope you enjoyed. You can like, comment, and subscribe down below if you like. All my socials, follow me, and everyone will start in the description as always. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!